Hey everybody, we're gonna do the Steelers tonight, right? And this is all we're gonna do. I don't have any big intros or anything fancy like that. We're just gonna drop in. If you want to know more about how I'm doing what I do, you can check out the previous one. I'm working on getting it on to Twitch. I think I did it wrong. Hopefully, should save broadcasts now. But I do have it on YouTube, so I'll try and get that link up. It's anywhere Fusion FFB. I'll have it up. You can find it, but I'll put it up again just for you. And I went over a lot more details about how I'm doing what I'm doing on that. But for now, I am getting ready to work on the Steelers. I was just fixing my template here a little bit, and then I was going to dive into it. I'm still not sure why these. It's not really a big deal to finish product. It's only me that sees it, but there's something wrong with my conditional formatting there. Oh well. So let's save this. And then let's save it as Steelers. Pittsburgh. Yes, that is what I want to do. Yes, I do. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go. Oh goodness, I have to spell Ben Roethlisberger's name correctly. Let's see if I can do it. Nope. Dang. Man, I thought I had it. Thought I had it. Roethlis. Oh, it's E-R. See, I got this stupid wrong. Oh, man. I got the simple thing wrong. I either got the O-E-T-H-L-I-S right. Alright, I'll put him in here again so I can get those stats. Look up all that. Alright, here we go. Let's start at the top. Should probably pull up our lads just so I don't miss anybody too. And back to Juju and see how many I can get without looking. Oh, they added Dante Moncrief. They drafted Deontay. He's got a weird spelling. Haha! I got that one right. I did not get Moncrief right. I wonder what I did wrong. Excuse me. All right. Dante. What's it? Is it really have? Don't tell me it has weird symbols in there for the. It does. Man. Oh, it's an O. Why was I thinking it's an A? It's Dante. Let's see. Eli Rogers is still technically there. We got oh shoot, what is Switzer's first name? I'm gonna have to look. Ryan. Who else they got there? That's the only ones that I think are of any consequence, and some of those may not be. All right, then we got Vance. Do I want to put Grimble or Gentry in there? Yeah. I can always give them nothing. Might as well. Oop. No, messed that up. Can you guys see this? Oh, no. I'm sorry. Boom. You can see a little better now. Also, I was looking at the video from last time, and I could see that sometimes I need to scroll down because my big head gets in the way. Sorry about that. All right, that's it for tight ends. Now we're going to go to the running backs. Samuels. Benny Snell. Anyone else we want to put in there? Did you know the Steelers picked up Ralph Webb? I did not know that. Patriots let him go. Or did they sign him off to his Patriots practice squad? I don't know. Trey Edmonds. All right. I think that's about it for fantasy relevant players. So we're going to move over to the real work here. Once this catches up. Okay, so when we have all the averages in here, Roethlisberger's coming out a little. Well, these are his average. Yeah, he's coming out a little low. Makes sense since Antonio Brown is missing, basically, off this sheet. So that's about 150. Yeah, that would have been about right. 150 targets right there. Gone. 1,000 yards. Gone. So that's got to either come back or get replaced. I mean, get replaced or lessen. So Juju, let's give him, I'm just going to give him a good 16 games. Same for the other guys. Dante Moncrief, I don't know. He had some health injuries earlier when he was at the Colts, but I don't think he's had any problems lately other than just not being very, very good. Juju, you got to go, he's got to go up. Now that's an average of 2 years, so this is one of those cases where I just want to look at last year because his rookie season is not necessarily going to be 166 yards per game, targets per. It doesn't quite give me that. But I have 16 games, 106. So he was over 10.1 or whatever. So he's going to be up at 10 or at least 11. I'm going to give him. Moncrief had 5 a game over in Jacksonville, and then whatever he had in the past. But he had 86, 87 targets or something like that with Jacksonville, which is just, that offense was so bad last year. No one even cared to even know who was doing anything, which is a good thing for like D.D. Westbrook because no one realizes how much work he did get, what a high target share he did get. So we're not doing the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're doing the Steelers. So Moncrief, I don't know, slam dunk wide receiver 2. Come on. Let's split the difference a little bit. Get the rookie involved a little. Eli Rogers. I'm just going to spread this. I like Switzer. Vance McDonald can get more involved. Grimble, no. rookie. No, I'm not giving anything. I think Jalen Samuels can go up. Connor can go down. Snell's not doing anything. Snell's not. Connor. Let's give Connor 14 games. He made it through, what did it say, 13 and a half or something? Oh, he doesn't have anything. So I'm just filling these things in as I do. I can see that the numbers are starting to add up more. I mean, Roethlisberger averages here. See, this is Roethlisberger's averages. That's what I meant to fix. Needs to be in percent, not a number. That's fine. So 65%, 4,400 yards on 580 targets. We're still lower than that. Touchdowns, 30. Well, we're about touchdowns later. They're so independent, I don't even worry about them when I'm doing the yards and targets and everything. James Conner. Okay, so that rush attempt, it's another case where it's being skewed by the first year where he didn't do anything. So let's look up James Conner in 2018. And we can see he had 215 attempts in 13 games. So I have 14 now. Yeah, he's looking at more like at least 15, 16. I always tone down their yards per catch just because I'd rather not bet on a high efficiency. It's yards per carry. It honestly doesn't mean much. It is kind of, people fight about this all the time, and I'm like, when the sample size is large enough, I don't care who you are, it does usually average out to be a little over 4 for good backs and a little below 4 for bad backs who are getting volume. Problem is when you look at good or bad backs who are only getting small amounts of volume, and now a couple big runs or a lack of are skewing the average. As long as you have enough of a sample size, it does the job. It doesn't really tell you the full picture, but it's not bad. Why was Connor's catch percentage so low? What? That can't be right. That must have been a rookie year thing. Wow. He probably had like 0 catches on a couple targets or something in the first year. That should be up at 75. Samuels. He's good there. Gribble 60. Vance McDonald 60. I'll leave those averages where they are. These averages stay fairly consistent. Again, when you have enough volume and when your situation and quarterback stay the same. So I'll leave Juju up there. James Washington. He really wasn't good last year from even film experts and other people that I kind of follow and listen to. Yeah, it's supposedly not good. So let's see. Trying to look up over here what he had. I mean, he's going to get at least up to 55%, even if he's not good. Look, Dante Moncrief even is at 54%. So, oops, wrong numbers. Ow. Come on, finger, all the way up there. There you go. All right, what are we at now? 5. Oh, we didn't change targets. James Washington. So let's boost them a little bit. Juju, jeez. That's crazy though. It really is. I wonder if his catch percentage should go down just because. I mean, I wonder if that's what we're gonna lose. I also think his yards per reception can go down. But I wonder if that's what he's going to lose now, being the number one, getting the target more focus from the defense is more planning. I have agreed with that a little bit. It can be overplayed, but I don't think it's a terrible argument to make, saying that he has to go down in efficiency just because now defenses are going to be able to plan on him as the one. And lots of people look at games where he was the one without Antonio Brown in a couple of cases, especially the end of his rookie year. And he was really good in those games, but the problem is no one had the chance to plan for just him. AB was out because of injury. Now they're going to have a whole off season to plan for him as the one. It's not just going to be, okay, let's quickly look at some film on this guy because it sounds like Brown's going to be out. And that's basically what happened in those games. He's going to get the full focus, the full effort, and film, study, treatment, everything, off season and in season. So he's going to have to be a little bit more. I want to check something right now. I want to look at what Antonio Brown's were, and don't get upset. I'm not saying Juju's Antonio Brown, but I have said that both particularly the yards per catch is very much driven by role and quarterback. So you see Antonio Brown was down at 12.5 in 2018. He was all the way up at 15 the year before, and he was down at 12 the year before that. Okay. I'm going to drop Juju to 13. He was up at 14, average out. So I'm gonna drop him a little bit there. I'm going to say he's going to have a little bit hard time, a little more cornerback draped over him. And now, why is there a negative yards per catch on Dante Moncrief? That's pretty funny. Rush attempts per game. Does Juju do that much? I don't think I remember him doing much. Could get rid of that. All right, so right now we have Juju with a 32% target share. That's really high. Like number one is 27, 28%. 29 is like crazy DeAndre Hopkins. Over 30% is, oh yeah, that's DeAndre Hopkins level. So somebody else is going to have to do something here. Wow. Okay, well, who's it going to be? Oh, shoot. There we go. I forgot to incorporate the rookie. Now we're down to 30%. Man, I did it again, guys. There we go. You can actually see over here. I'm looking at the target share. I just say market share, but that's maybe I should have split it out separately in hindsight, because it kind of would have been nice to know the target share of some running backs. But as it is now, it just calculates the market share relevant to the position. So for receivers and tight ends, it's targets, and for running backs, it's rush attempts. And I understand that kind of leaves a little bit of a blank spot for the satellite backs, the high usage satellite backs like a James White. If you want to know how much of actual target share he got, you're just going to have to calculate it yourself. The sheet is not going to do it for you. It's going to calculate his rush attempt share. So What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Am I really going to up Dante Moncrief? Roethlisberger's at 577 for 4,200. He's almost to his averages. Let's look at. You know, it would have been easier to just do it this way. I can see them all right next to each other. Completions, a lot last year. Last year was not normal. So anyone who's just taking last year's targets and removing Brown and now saying, look, this is how many leftover targets there are for Juju, and now he has like 100 more targets. That's crazy. Because look, you can see he had 88 more completions than the year before, and the year before that he had 32 less. That's the math. 32. That's 120 more. Did I do that math right? Yes. 120 more targets from 2016 to 2018. Look at this. 124 to be precise. More completions. And 167 targets more. And 1,310 more yards. Wow. Kind of regretting drafting Ben Roethlisberger in a startup right now. I'm okay with these numbers right here, though. If he goes back just 1 year, don't go 2 years back. That was an ugly year. It was only 14 years, but man, that's ugly. All right, what did I want to find here? That was pretty much it. .588 is his average from these three, but really the average, it's going to be down to 5. Now their defense is worse. They've been throwing the ball more, having to keep up. So I can't get above the 580s. It really should be in the 560s, 570s. That's going to be my target. So where are we now? 570s. We're there already, with Washington and Moncrief averaging 5 a game. Some for the slots and rookies. That's kind of just spread out. 5 a game for, I mean, that's pretty good. That's 10%. I mean, maybe Vance should get more, take some away from these other guys. I kind of don't think Eli Rogers is going to be much of anything. And for 10 games. I don't even know. Oh, I see. All right, so I was gonna do something, guys. I got a here. Let me unmute it. Play. See what let me know what you think about this. We'll just not that. So because it's Twitch and it's live, I've got to have like copyrightless stuff if I'm gonna stream it. So there's some playlists out there. So I grabbed some random one. It's better than just the silence when I'm thinking, at least. Plays. Pretty low number of plays for this much volume. For comparison, I had Baker up at about the same number of attempts, I think. More, but on more yards, and there must have been more rush attempts. That must have been the trick. What do I want to give Snell? Jalen Samuels, is he going to get any rushes? Yeah, he can get some. Snell, can he get any? He can get some. Where are we on rush yards up here? Averages. Yeah, we're low. Yeah, we're a little low. The percentile is really low. Wow. Yeah, there probably should be more rush attempts here somewhere. Excuse me. I mean, we're still sitting at a 30% target share for Juju. Over 300 points. Man, Juju. Even when I try, he comes out crazy. I would like to get... Apparently I'm printing something behind me. So I would like to get Vance McDonald. Oh, why do I only have him for 12 games? Man, that's because he does seem to get injured. It's actually fair. That is fair. But I'm going to boost his per game. Because when he does play, he can do more. So I think that's fair. But we need to turn down somebody. Who's it going to be? Touchdowns. Yes, put me to sleep. Come on, guys. This is supposed to be like... This is supposed to be a good Twitch. I have to find a better one. Alright. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. Let's check on the numbers. We're low, but that's fine because it's going to go down. We don't have to be crazy down, but down. Remember, we looked at Roethlisberger. More printing. 42. I think that's a good target number for him. About 43, 44, 4,500. Yeah. That's about right. Touchdowns, rushing touchdowns were low. Connor. Alright, so what I'm looking at here now is Connor and seeing... He really didn't have a ton of touchdowns last year, but if I recall, he had a pretty high usage in the red zone. That's interesting. 2 fumbles. Why is it giving him... Oh, because he has no YPC. Sorry, Benny Snell. There you go. No, still not. What's wrong? Why aren't you... Oh, because I didn't give him any games. Sorry about that, Benny. If you wondered why I only give him 14, I'm gonna have to like write up a whole thing about this, about why I have decided that I do have to predict games missed. And I say it that way because that's the way that people have a problem with it. People have a problem with projecting injury for players. Fact is, injury is reality. Players get injured. If I don't account for that, then I have everyone statted out for 16 games, as many as they can possibly get per their normal per game rates, but more because they're playing in every game, which means I come out with team numbers that are way high, and then I either have to let them stay high or I have to turn down the players to get the team lower to where it makes sense. But now I'm changing the players to a lower rate than they really would be getting in the games they played when they play less than 16 games. I got to figure out a better way of saying that. Oh well. Plays per game were a little bit more average now. Rush attempts fixed that, I think. What is YPPTD, you wonder? It's a long and boring explanation. Basically, it's yards per plays per touchdown for the team stats as a whole, and it just is a really nice round number that gives me an idea of how good the offense is. 1.8 isn't actually very good, and you might be wondering, yeah, well, that doesn't seem right because look, Juju is putting up 1,500 yards. They must be a good offense. It's more than just Juju. It's the offense as a whole is the idea. So our rush touchdowns are low. Now, does Roethlisberger generally get a 1.3? Yeah, sounds about right. We'll leave that. All right, Samuels, if he gets a little bit of work, I expect he could get a couple. Benny, you can have one. What are we at now? Closer to averages, average percentile. Receiving touchdowns, we're low. We are low. So right away you can see, look, these numbers over here, they went up. It was so low. That's why I went to touchdowns. I knew it was so low because I knew the touchdowns were low. The yardage numbers are there. They should have that 2.1 is exactly average for the last 3 seasons worth of team data. So 96 different entries on each of these stats averaged out. Ranked out is the basis of these percentiles, but then the YPPTD is all of the yards per plays per touchdowns added up. So they were 2.7 last year, which is a very good number. I believe they were top 5, top 10, something like that. 2.1 is exactly the average. I believe it was between Jacksonville or Arizona, I think, being a 1, and Kansas City being about a 3.8. Did I remember that correctly? Let's look. No, it was 4.5. Wow. 3.8 was Atlanta a couple years ago. Yep, right there. Those are the 2 highest numbers that came out. New Orleans has been very high. So, I mean, you look at this and over here, ooh, wrong way. You can see the cities, and it is a perfect power ranking of fantasy relevant ranking of teams. So some bad teams who don't think we're that great might be higher here, and some teams you might think were good might be lower. But It's all about volume and touchdowns. Specifically touchdown, not just points. You'll see some metrics people around NFL, either for fantasy or just for NFL, doing metrics for points per play, points per yard. I don't know why they do points per yard. It should be yards per point, because you should do a bigger number first. I don't get why they do that. It would actually give you an idea of how many yards they went between touchdowns then, or how many plays they went between touchdowns. To me, that's more useful. I don't know why they go points per. But I'm doing touchdowns because touchdowns are what's relevant to fantasy. So that's what that is. That's what they were last year. If I had to guess, they'll end up with around a 2.3-ish once we fix these touchdowns. So Juju, I gave him 8 already. If Washington's getting that much work, he's got to get more. Moncrief, he has had a knack for touchdowns, so I'll give him a chance there. Oh, I didn't give Deontay Johnson a yards per reception, so that's probably why nothing was coming out right here. Let's give him just 12. That's a good rookie number. Still get nothing because I don't have a... There we go. Actually jumped us up, so I don't think Ben's doing any better than that. Looks about right to me. Maybe a few more touchdowns out here. McDonald maybe can get a boost here to at least 4. Grimble, is he going to catch one in one of the 4 receptions he gets? I don't know. I also struggle with do I do 0.5? I think I do, just for the sake of the numbers up here. I'm not trying to get exact numbers correct. I'm trying to get a total that makes sense for our points over here. Juju still has so much work. It's almost unbelievable that he could get that much work. I gotta get him below 30%. That's just crazy. 168 targets. I mean, that's right where he's been. But the only way he was that high was because the offense was also it was just a larger pie. If you're thinking about splitting up the pie and how you cut it up and all that, it's just plain a larger pie. So I like where we're at for numbers. Touchdowns are still a little low for the Steelers, but and yeah, look, we're 2.3. I think that's about right. Yeah, I think that's about right. They're going to be lower than everything than they've been in the past few years. A lot of these average are really just jacked up because of last year. So he's still, what did I say, it was 262, 561. I meant 567. Yeah, I like all these numbers. I think it's about as good as we're going to get for now. Again, I'm trying to get just a first pass on all of these. Plays per game. I mean, it's almost high. Yeah, they're going to be okay. I mean, we could cut down. We'd have to cut down Juju's if we were going to cut down, because that's going to be a sizable amount. Just changing that 0.5 changed... How much? A little bit. Dropped in 28%. 1,300 yards. Nah. I'll give him credit. He's going to get fed. Touchdown, interceptions. We want to do anything about that. I think he might have more just simply because of the receivers. 16, 14, 13. I'm going to give him 15 for this year because I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle at times with Moncrief and Johnson and Washington. And these are just his averages. I'll just leave those alone because he averages what he averages, and I don't need to mess with that. Now, in case you're wondering, all these things down there, and this will all get explained in that first video if you go back. The bad thing about that video is my audio was a little messed up, and I apologize. And if you've ever messed up, like if it's messed up right now, please tell me. Find a chat somewhere that I'm in. DM me, whatever you got to do, tell me. Because that really got me mad that it was like that. I had things tested before. I think what happened is I did my testing and then I recorded a podcast and edited it. And then I went right into the stream. I should have tested again. I think some of the software, it was just software based. I was able to recreate it right away. And then once I changed all the settings and set them back again, everything was fine. So I tried to just have everything fresh before a stream now and do a quick double check before I go live. And hopefully we'll be good from now on. It says we got 2 viewers, and I'm pretty sure they're not both me. Sometimes one of those viewers is me, although I don't know if it is this time around. If I'm on, if I'm like on myself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I should just close it. But hey, welcome. If you can get into a chat, that'd be cool. You have to make a Twitch account, which can be irritating. I get it. If you would rather be in another chat, you can be in the Fusion FFB chat, which is on GroupMe. And it's lots of fun. We have a lot of good discussions in there. You'll get updates on me when I'm going to be going live one of these nights or whatever. And then I am able to bounce ideas off of you. I'm able to get some feedback. Somebody just told me my audio is great. Thanks, Justin. So that's a great place where we can hang out and I talk about observations on these. Now, what I meant to do, I forgot what I meant to do at the beginning of this was go over some of my thoughts from Cleveland. I'm supposed to do that at the beginning. New guys, I'm sorry. So we'll do that right now. So I'm gonna save this Pittsburgh one. Let's go fix. Come on. All right. Let's fix this. So I sort it by PPR and then by position. As I've said before, the positional ranks will fill out once I've done all of them. There we are. Juju's going to be, that's a strong case for a top 5 at least. Up here I have, you can see plays, how many per game, what kind of percentile we're looking at there, touchdowns. So we're just a little above average team offense, 57 to 42. I didn't really look at that before. They usually pass more, but 57, I think that's within acceptable ranges. It's not a crazy change. All right, I'm happy with this. We are going to save it. And we are going to go over to the Cleveland Browns from the last stream. And I actually, follow me on Twitter at FusionFFB. Actually today, I'm actually going to pull this up. I made my little thread where I wrote down some of the observations and thoughts I had. I did mention one of them, I think, during the stream about how I don't think they can trade Duke Johnson unless Kareem Hunt looks great. I think I talked about how, yeah, I already talked about how David Njoku is going to have a hard time getting a target share. Where are we at? Yeah, he's down to 10%, just under 10%, as opposed to 15% last year. And that's because these guys, Odell and those receivers, are just demanding too much. See, look, for a contrast, 300 points for Juju, only 250 for Odell Beckham. And Odell Beckham's getting overdrafted. I mean, I like him, but it's a new team. It's a crowded offense. It's a good defense. It's a good running game. He's not going to be getting the volume. Look, he's not going to be getting the volume to support that. A good 30 less targets than Juju on a team with the same number, pretty much the same attempts and passing yards and some more touchdowns. So there wasn't much I wanted to change here. But there was something I did look at that of course, I can't remember what it was now. Was it Kareem Hunt? Oh, I know what it was. It was touchdowns for Chubb. I mistakenly did rough math in my head, and I was thinking he had 8 in 10 games last year, so I made it 16 minus, accounting for the extra games. But it was only 6 rushing touchdowns. I had the total number in my head. So this is actually, that's a lot. I'm just going to, I got to drop him down to like 10. And now his numbers are not as crazy as they were. They were pretty high numbers. He's still good. And he has potential for more. He's getting some in the receiving game. He could easily get 10, 11, 12. And who knows, he could go nuts and get even more. I've considered putting him up to 12. How's that change our rushing touchdowns? High, still high. I think 10 is fair. If you got 6 in 10 games, then 6 more games. Do the math. It's going to be roughly 10. Okay, so no, I did have a lot of more thoughts after all on Cleveland. So that's good. We'll save that. And I'm going to load up the template. Close out Cleveland here. Close out Pittsburgh. Good night. Should open it before I close that. All right, so let's do do we have time? Yeah, we have time. Let's do the Ravens. Finish out the AFC North. Save as Baltimore 2019. Yes, the other ones, they're just placeholders. Let's pull up our lads for the Ravens. And let's start bringing in the info. I'd love to get 2 done tonight. I feel like I'm a little behind actually. I kept redoing this template thing, trying to fix stuff. And I'm glad I did. There was one big change I had to make that actually made life a lot easier. It made what I'm doing right now a lot easier. So it was worth it. I'm still ahead of where I was last year, so that's good. I was way behind where I am now last year. Okay, Marquise Brown. Willie Snead. They've got I saw a list the other day, a ton of receivers. So this is going to be interesting. It really is going to be very interesting. Someone on Twitter had a list of all of the targets. I think it was actually Ravens camp hype video, which is pretty funny. Jordan Lasley is not coming up. Did he have no stats last year? I don't think he had any stats last year. That's funny. Okay. No stats for you. I'll have to fix that later. Just so he's in the database. That's pretty funny. All right, we'll put in the rest of these guys. They're still talking about Chris Moore being something. They brought in Michael Floyd. I guess I knew he was still around, but yeah. Jaleel Scott is still there. Who actually kind of liked. Anyone else we want to add in here? Seth Roberts is there. This is the ugliest group of receivers in the NFL. Congratulations, Baltimore. You did it. You did it. Jaleel Scott, same thing. He's not even in my database because they didn't have stats. Oh my goodness. That is... I don't even know what to say. Nick Boyle. Our lads, what are you doing? Why do you have Nick Boyle ahead of Hayden Hurst, ahead of Mark Andrews on the depth chart? I'm not sure I can buy that. Sorry. Look at Hayden Hurst. He's 23 years old. He looks like he's somebody who's been in the league a couple years already. He's not. He was drafted a round or two before Andrews, who's 23 and looked better. 500 yards on 50 targets last year. All right, so we got Mark Ingram there. Lots of marks. Justice Hill. Gus Johnson. And technically, Kenneth Dixon is still there. Technically. How is Gus Johnson not in? He had stats last year, so what did I get wrong? Oh, not Gus. Whoops. Wow. Gus Johnson. All right. I got some problems. Why is Mark Ingram? What is going on? Why is he not coming up correctly? Why is he not in the database? Melvin. Why is Mark Ingram not in my database? Well, this is a problem that clearly I need to fix. Oh, that's why. I missed New Orleans. New Orleans players are not in the database. No wonder. I must have skipped them. That's no big deal. I can easily fix that. It doesn't change anything for the other sheets. It only came up when it came upon a player who was a Saint. So that's going to take a little work, probably off air. Not sure we want to continue with the Ravens. Let's say we have a little fun and jump over to another team then, because that Mark Ingram's going to be a big deal, a big part of this team, and I don't feel like doing this without him. So let's go over. That was the last AFC North team. I had started and done some other teams. Let's go do Atlanta. I'm going to go to NFC South and do Atlanta because I've done Atlanta before, and it should go quick. Is my point? I still have to type everything in, like names that I want to have averaged out, but I already have a pretty good idea where I want to go with things. So we're going to save this as Atlanta. Yes. I had used Atlanta as a test case when I was building the template just to experiment and make sure that things were actually had real numbers and real data to calculate. So that's why I say it's familiar, and hopefully we can get through this one pretty quick. I still have to put the all right, who am I missing? Do I need Russell Gage in there? Put the rookie in there just because I think he could actually take over for Justin Hardy. You'll see the age here. If those ages ever disagree, just remember that I'm basing it off their official age for the previous season +1. So it'll be what their age is considered for the 2019 season, even if they're not quite that number yet, or don't turn it until maybe the early season. I don't know where they draw that line, but this is what Pro Football Reference had for their season, for their age on their last season, and then I just added one, +1. So Justin Hardy is 28 years old. Maybe you didn't realize he was that old. I didn't. So Marcus Green, I think, is someone who could probably aim in for his job. Not saying he'll do it, but it would be a good fit for him. They've got Julio 30, Mohamed Sanu 30. These guys are getting up there. But we kind of have a good old-fashioned Roddy White, Julio Jones dynamic going here. But now Julio is the master. All right, we got Austin Hooper in here. I'm not going to put Luke Stalker in there. Devonta Freeman. Ito Smith. I'm going to include one of my favorite late round rookies, Kadri Allison. Do I need to include anybody else? Did autocorrect? Anyone else? Anyone else? It's fairly concentrated. I think that's about it. That's all I ever had when I was working on the sheets in the past. So let's go to the worksheet. And here we are, Marcus Green. You can have some games. I'm going to leave Julio at missing one. Sanu at missing one. Marcus Green. Your targets per game. What just happened? I'm giving Devonta Freeman only 12 games because I think that's fair. What do we got? We got Julio up at 25, Calvin Ridley at 19% target share. That's pretty high still. Mohamed Sanu 13. Cooper actually goes down a little bit. Not sure I like that. Where are we with the numbers? Receiving touchdowns are a little low. We're good on the yards, completions, attempts. All are falling in line so far. So I'm not sure I can't really give anyone any more. I'm already given Julio about how many targets he gets, 140s. Okay, I'm going to give him a full 7 touchdowns. I'm going to bring Ridley down to 8. I do think it's just kind of that role. He's going to be left open more often to get touchdowns. All right, we're there for where we can be. Attempts per game. I think Olsen gets more of a rushing attempts than Ito Smith. I think they tried it with Ito Smith and they discovered he's just not efficient as a runner. He can be good as a satellite back. I have him getting plenty of targets, receptions. Yards per carry for Olsen. We'll give him a healthy just 4. He could get a couple touchdowns, I think. You know who I should have in here? I didn't see his name. Okay, I'll put him in there. Brian Hill. All right, so pretty much filled out. Looking at the numbers, they all check out. It's a little less than last year in YPPTD. I need a better name, guys. Still, if you have a better name for yards per play per touchdown as a team metric, name, acronym, whatever you got, I'll take it because it's terrible. Turnovers, fumbles. Those are all, everything's looking pretty good. Touchdowns are where they should be. This is a productive offense. I'm fine with these percentiles being upper percentiles. The total yards is a little high because so the passing numbers are a little much, even with less touchdowns. I wanted Sanu. Okay, that's better for Ridley. I wanted him more around 18% second year receiver like he was. He was 14, almost 15. That's a good jump for him. That's healthy. Brings Julio down a little bit, but I think that fits what a normal trend is. Rush your attempts. It's about right. Plays per game. I think that's right. I did notice this doing Atlanta in the past. They were a fairly low total plays team. They have very high efficiency, high plays per touchdown, high touchdowns per game, so on. So not as good as last year, but 2.66, that is a good number. Yes, I know it's an arbitrary number, but in context, that's a good number. Everything else here looks right. Did lower the numbers a little bit there. Attempts, yardage, touchdowns aren't higher. Completion rate is pretty high. I guess I could see Sanu going down a bit. %8 for my Ryan's gotten to 68% right now. That's pretty high. So you see here I have the different you'll see I have a different columns for PPR, non-PPR, so those are all custom. I can change that scoring as I want, and I actually, because I had that extra column, I changed a little bit of the scoring for the receiver, for the quarterbacks, and treated it as a 6-point touchdown league, so you can kind of get a comparison on the number. I like where we're at. Marcus Green's yards, that needs to go up. So you would think Hardy's would be way more because he's kind of the good old chase it down. See, look, now I boosted it back up. What did I do? Screwed it all up. But he's kind of the go run fast guy, basically. But I mean, Hardy was in the past. He'd always have long attempts to him. I don't see how in the yard his catch rate's not that high. We gotta cut down a little bit here more. Who's going to get cut down, Hooper or Sanu? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I have managed to keep Austin Hooper still around the same numbers. He's gone up every year. He may not go up quite as much this year, but he does have some more touchdowns, 150 points, tight end. That's not bad. Devonta Freeman, 166. RB 2-ish range. Once I get all these ranks in again, I'll be able to have it in here actually, where they fall positionally. But also I'll have a column where I'll bring in the numbers for what's normal for the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and so forth. So that way we don't end up with just all 24 wide receivers having way higher numbers than the wide receivers in the top 24 usually have. It's fine for 1 or 2 at the top to be maybe higher, but it would not make sense if all 24 of the top 24 receivers are just statted out by my projections for way more numbers than they have in previous years. Or likewise, to be too low, then lower than they really should, so there's no way that they would have ended up in the top 24 with those numbers. So we're just kind of double checking ourselves. We build it up from the bottom, and then we check it from the top down. Same thing goes for the team level. Build it up, check it top down. So I didn't really want to go much over an hour and a half on these, so we're pretty good on that, I think. Hitting about an hour and 20 minutes, but that's with some time at the beginning. All right, guys, you can see all the stuff down here. And I'm not sure if I talked about it much before, but this team remainder down here, this is just saying, look, there's going to be someone who gets touchdown. There's going to be 51 rush attempts unaccounted for. That's actually pretty high. I do have it. It's a 5% more thing, but maybe I shouldn't even do 5% on the rush attempts. Targets, 26 extra targets going somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. An extra touchdown. So that all gets included in the totals. Oh, no, that's not what I want right here. All right, guys. Like how that looks. Let's give it a quick save, go over to the overview, and actually see what it looks like. Again, low plays per game. That's normal for Atlanta. High efficiency, not necessarily high volume. That's why they were so high in the YPPTD, and yet still not as high as Kansas City, because Kansas City had both efficiency and volume. Julio Jones, what do we got? Julio, 288. So I currently have Juju statted out for more points than Julio. That's kind of what I wanted to get to. I just wanted to see what Julio ended up with. Wow. Maybe. Yeah, I like how all these look. It's not asking too much of Devonta Freeman. I mean, maybe I could boost him up. What's the rush attempts and totals? It's a little low. If anything, I'll lower all this in and up him, just because I feel like I want to be right on the per game. I already have him down for 12 games. I don't need to double count. I don't need to double discount and both lower his per game average to account for missed games when I'm already accounting for missed games. I need to give him what he's going to get in the games he does play. And I think we're pretty good here. There's the Falcons. I want it quick, like I said. I'll have to go back and fix Baltimore. Fix Baltimore so that New Orleans is included. There's the extra numbers. Ryan, 288 points. That's pretty good for for anybody, for him. A lot of yards, not a ton of attempts. See, they just do it on good efficiency. Wow. All right, good for them. There we go. There's the Falcons. Another one in the books. I'm done tonight. I'm going to go to bed. And I'll see you maybe in a couple days. Do this again. Keep churning them out. If you think it's boring, that's okay. It probably is. This is how I do it. Keep checking podcasts. One came out yesterday, if you didn't already see. I recapped a bunch of basically all of the veteran running backs around the league. And then look for this video as well as the first one and all future ones on our YouTube channel. Everything is Fusion FFB. If you can't find it, Fusion FFB. Twitter @FusionFFB. Website fusionffb.com. You can find me, email me fusionffb@gmail.com. And of course here on Twitch, I am FusionFFB. On YouTube, I am FusionFFB. It's easy. Thanks for joining me, those of you who did, even if it was briefly live. I'm still doing the recording, like I said, because it's going up on YouTube. So if you made it this far, congratulations. What's wrong with you? Go to bed. See ya. Yes, I'm sure I want to stop streaming. Why would I not? Why would I push that button?